Hello everybody. Lucas Haneman here. Welcome to this week's episode of Guitar Tone Tuesday. And for those of you who have been watching the show recently, I'm with a familiar face, Ted Brown of Blackwood Guitars here in Mallorytown, Ontario. Ted, thanks for coming back on the show again.
Thanks, I love it. You're such a good player. It's a joy to have you here.
Oh, thanks. And these guitars are super, super cool. And in my opinion, at this point, we've kind of climbed the mountain of Blackwood guitars. In the last episode, we looked at two of your older designs. This is the newest design. This one's called the Black Bear. And I got to say, from a player's perspective, it's very comfortable and it just sounds fantastic. So how about you tell me about how you came to this guitar?
Well, I've been experimenting, building guitars for years and trying to figure out what the major levers are in a guitar. And there's a bunch of things that came together in this guitar. For instance, I really like Lutz spruce for a top. It gives me a full tonal range that I just love without being tinny at the top end. You get a nice crisp high end and it's just the right amount. So it's nicely balanced. Granadillo, or in this case Hormigo, same wood, different name. I tend to call the one that is more red Hormigo, and I got a beautiful set here. I don't know if you can pick it up on the camera, but it's got some beautiful figure on the back of the guitar. But more importantly, it rings. It's called the wood that sings. That's the way it's described. Often used in marimba keys, for instance.
Yeah, very cool. I mean, this thing really does ring. Just listen to this.
So you're hearing the tonal range there. You hear the bass, you hear the high end, and you hear that sustained, and that's what I love.
Yeah, it sounds fantastic. And I got to say, let's talk about Lutz for a second. Lutz comes from the west coast, right, of Canada?
Right, from BC. It's a combination of Engelmann spruce mixed with Sitka. So some people call it white Sitka. Has all the advantages of Sitka with a little bit whiter and a little bit harder, just a hair harder. And the tonal range to me is great. And when I first tap Lutz, I'm always amazed how good it is.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I mean, in Canada's climate, it's nice to have a kind of stiffer spruce. As we go through the different seasons, the guitar doesn't move around quite as much.
Yep.
And I got to say that I love Engelmann spruce, but it is kind of floppier.
It is.
than the other spruces. So it can move around a lot. The top of the guitar can move around a lot. So you get
Absolutely.
that same kind of tone, but with more stability. So it's kind of a win-win.
Yep.
And the shape of this guitar is very cool. I got to say, from my perspective, sitting down with it, it's kind of curvy in all the right ways. It's got a nice tight waist. It sits on my lap in a nice way. How would you describe the shape of this guitar for the uninitiated?
Well, I noticed that a lot of guitars on the market had shapes that didn't suit my eye. I like a certain roundness to a guitar, and you can see that on the Black Bear. I think it's comfortable, and I think when you're trying to make something natural, you don't want to have sharp edges, so to speak. It should be fairly natural in its shape. So this suits my eye, and it certainly suits my ear. I like natural woods, like the spalted maple rosette.
Beautiful.
I like, this one's got cherry in the neck, cherry and maple. I try to put things together that are supportive of each other, and I think it works in this guitar.
Absolutely. It definitely does to my ears. And let's hear another clip of this guitar so you guys can judge that for yourselves. Well, this is just a gorgeous sounding guitar, I gotta say, Ted. And there's another aspect to what you do here that a lot of people don't know about who have been tuning into this series on your guitars. Can you tell me about your shop and how it works? From what I know, you've got some students who come here.
Oh yeah, I teach students literally from all over North America already since COVID. I have 6 benches for students. The reason we came to this area was to build a nice big shop. There's a nice big 2x4 window above every bench so that you have good lighting and a nice place to relax and make your guitar. I've had people from Newfoundland, Florida, 3 from British Columbia already, and a plethora of people from Ontario and Quebec. So it's been great fun meeting people from all over. They come and they spend 5 weeks with me. We start with a pile of rough lumber, and 5 weeks later they walk away with a nice guitar.
They walk away with a guitar.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's a good guitar too. Worth about $3,500 plus or minus, you know.
Wow.
It's sort of I do, they do. I make a guitar with them, so I start by bending, and then they bend. We put in end blocks, they put in end blocks, and we work our way through in that way.
Yeah, so you're kind of like the safety net, making sure the guitar is going to hold together in the end.
Yeah.
Right.
So they get taught, and so I do the demonstration, and then I go around and I guide the students through the process.
Wow. And how many times a year do you do this?
3 times a year.
3 times a year.
I don't teach during the summer months. I teach in the fall, in the early winter, and in the spring.
Wow. So you guys have heard it here. I mean, whether you're from Ottawa or elsewhere, if you guys want to learn how to build your own acoustic guitar, you can come and see Ted. I think that's really cool. You know, it's really special to see this. You know, I got to say your social media presence is really good. It's not like every builder to be so upfront about what they're up to. A lot of builders are very shy by nature, from my experience meeting quite a few of them. You know, and they're not always putting themselves out there. So not only do you do that, you know, on Instagram and on Facebook and all that stuff, but you also teach people, and that's really special. You're giving back to the community by doing that.
Yeah, I really enjoy the interaction and making new friends. I've had some of my people say, "Boy, you're telling too much. You're giving all your secrets away." I said, "There's thousands of them."
Right.
And you know, it's not a problem. I want to share.
Yeah.
And if the students make great guitars, then I'm successful.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way as a teacher. Like, there's nothing worth holding back, right? You got.
Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, it's because the thing is, everybody's going to interpret whatever it is that you're teaching in their own way as well,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And no two people are going to make the same guitar.
Yep.
However much they may try to.
Yeah.
Right, and that's the cool thing is, you know, I feel like by playing these guitars today, I've gotten a sense of your personality, you know, and that's what I love about the handmade guitar world is, you know, you really do feel the personality of the person coming out in their instruments, you know. And, you know, these instruments are just natural. They're beautiful. The wood speaks for itself. They're not over the top. They're not super blingy, you know.
Yep.
But they're just really nice. And it's cool to see your own designs as well. So if anyone is interested in checking out Ted's workshop and his website, I'll put the info in the description box below. Ted, thank you so much for being on the show again. It's been such a pleasure.
Thank you, Lucas. There's my hand.
Yeah. Nice to meet you. And we'll see everybody again next Tuesday.
Thanks for dropping by.